How's it going, everybody? And before we get into this video, I do want to say that I am streaming a lot more on YouTube now, so if you want to see it, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you don't miss any of my live streams. Also, this is going to be a completely commentary video, so really what's going on in the background really doesn't matter. It's just a nice gameplay that I got. So if you want to enjoy it, please do. However, you really don't need to. Just sit back and relax and enjoy the commentary. In the past, Riot has said that they might be trying to get Valorant onto console as long as it has the same feeling as it has on PC. What this means is that really the only realistic way that we could see Valorant on console is if Riot feels that the overall gameplay, the overall, like they said, the feel of it, feels the same as it does on PC. The reason they said this is because Valorant as a game is very difficult to port over to console. Now, a lot of people like Valve has actually tried with a game very similar to Valorant, obviously being CS. However, the results weren't the best. The game didn't feel as smooth or as crisp as it did in CS. Overall, playing with a controller was just really clunky and almost awkward. Now, obviously, as you know, CS and Valorant are very aim-heavy games, and with a controller, it feels very, very different. So in a lot of ways, it would definitely change the fundamental experience. However, the biggest sort of reason for this is the aim, and there are ways to negate this. I've seen many posts on Reddit discussing this, the aim problem of Valorant, because I really don't think it would be anything to do with movement or abilities. It would really be focusing on the overall experience of the aim itself. And now from this, we have the biggest sort of point of contention for Valorant on console. Should it have aim assist or not? Now, the aim assist can actually take multiple forms. However, overall, it is probably going to be something very similar to things like Destiny or Call of Duty. I play a lot of Destiny, and really, in Destiny, it's when you sort of cross, or your crosshair crosses someone as it goes across another enemy, it sort of slows down, giving you a little bit of aim advantage and a little bit of sort of help. Now, this is done to help the player with the sort of fundamental inaccuracy of the joystick. The joystick is a lot harder to use in an FPS game than a mouse and keyboard. And so this is done in an effort to sort of make the aim a little bit smoother, as well as the overall game experience just a little bit nicer for the player. However, with this, it also has the side effect of making it a lot easier to use on a controller. However, that is a big difference from making it better. It is still a lot better to use a mouse and keyboard and a lot more precise. However, really, for a new player that's really never played an FPS before, it is probably going to be a lot nicer to use a controller with that aim assist than a mouse and keyboard. And sort of there lies the sort of overall problem. Would aim assist change or fundamentally change the gameplay so far that Riot wouldn't want to develop it anymore? And so that's the argument to not put aim assist on a controller for Valorant. Basically, you're making the aim a very big part of Valorant, very, very easy and very, very different than it is on mouse and keyboard. However, ultimately, I would actually disagree with this. In my opinion, there really should be aim assist, and here's why. Now, either way, if you put Valorant on console with a controller, obviously, it is always going to change the experience. And I would honestly rather have a better experience with aim assist for the console players rather than just making it overly difficult like they do with CS, which actually doesn't have aim assist. To support this, I want to look at a game that is somewhat similar, it being Rainbow Six Siege. Now, Rainbow Six Siege is on console as well as PC, and its sort of pro scene, its big esports scene, is always going to be on PC. Of course, that doesn't actually take away any competitiveness or fun from the console Siege scene. It is still incredibly competitive. There are still actually online leagues. However, of course, the overall big one is going to be on PC. Now, this is what Valorant, in my opinion, should do. With aim assist, it'll still be a lot of fun to play, and it'll still be incredibly competitive on console. However, it will never be what it is on PC. And there's really nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of games that do that, Siege being one of them. However, this brings in sort of the ultimate question. Should there be crossplay? Now, crossplay is, of course, the players on PC as well as the players on console playing together on the same servers with the same ranks. Maybe if that, it's a very difficult question to answer. But overall, it's just basically where a console player and a PC player can go up against each other or be on the same team with each other. Now, here we, of course, actually treading on unknown territory. This is something that Siege hasn't done. Not even my other game, Destiny, has done. Very few games that are very FPS heavy, very aim heavy, have actually done this. One of them actually was Call of Duty. Now, in Modern Warfare, the biggest difference with it and Valorant is, of course, the sort of necessity of going for headshots. In Call of Duty and in Modern Warfare specifically, you can go for body shots. Of course, you won't be as successful as people going for headshots, but going for body shots is still definitely viable. However, in Valorant, on the other hand, you are almost required to go for the head, especially if you want to go for those sort of higher levels of the game. And so going back to what Siege was, you can see why crossplay isn't really allowed. Crossplay would sort of ruin the experience for a lot of controller players because of how good and how much more precise the mouse and keyboard is on PC. And so going back to Valorant, I really don't see how crossplay would really be viable or even possible. A player with controller will always be at a big disadvantage in aim when going up against a mouse and keyboard player, especially at those higher ranks. And so to conclude, I do want to say that, in my opinion, aim assist would be okay. It really wouldn't ruin the experience as a lot of people are suggesting. It would actually, in my opinion, make it a lot better. It just would make the game a lot smoother and, in really what it should be, a lot more fun. And so going back to crossplay, I unfortunately don't think that will ever be possible due to the biggest difference between mouse and keyboard and controller being the aim difference. However, in the end, with everything in mind, I do think that eventually Valorant will come to console and people will be able to enjoy it and have fun on it. But it will probably take quite a long time. If we look at the way Riot is sort of treating the game, they're trying to take it very slow, they're trying to take it very precise, and they're trying to make every decision the right one. It isn't going to be easy, it's going to take a long time, but I think Riot will eventually get it so that Valorant will be fun and competitive on console.